Hello, I'm Dr. Andrew Allen from Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, and that was the second TMEA Jazz Etude for the 2018-2019 school year, your ballad. So in ballads, many things are important, but probably first and foremost is style, followed perhaps hand in hand by sound. So let's talk about sound first. Number one, you need to have good equipment. I have personally a nice Van Doren V16 Jazz mouthpiece. I have Van Doren V16 Jazz reeds, got a nice horn. You need all that, but you need to spend time on your sound more importantly than anything else. I have another video on YouTube. You can find it through my page on improving saxophone sound. It'll work for your classical playing, it'll work for your jazz playing. Spend some time on that. Another thing that you need to spend some time on through the course of learning this etude is how to use your vibrato effectively. So if you don't know how to do vibrato at all, saxophone vibrato is a jaw-based vibrato. Again, I have another video on that, saxophone vibrato, on my YouTube page, so check that out. But in a piece like this, we have an opportunity to do a lot of really interesting things with our vibrato. You probably noticed I was speeding it up and slowing it down as I went, which is really stylistically correct when you're playing any kind of jazz ballad. You're helping the listener's ear move forward through all of the longer note values by doing a little something with that. Especially in jazz, there's this thing called terminal vibrato, where you slowly start a note with no vibrato and you slowly add some as you go along. And that really draws the ear of the listener forward. Maybe something that you want to experiment with. You may want to go a little bit faster on more stressful notes, a little bit slower on more restful notes in this. Style is another, again, super important thing that you need to understand with this piece. Straight eights, but it's still in this jazz tradition. It's not a rock piece, it's not a Latin piece. It's still very firmly ensconced within this really big band tradition. I would say that this ballad is very much a big band alto player or tenor player, barry player out in front kind of ballad. So what I would really listen to, I'd listen to some great old Duke Ellington recordings where Marshall Royal's playing lead alto in a ballad. I would listen to some great, maybe Thad Jones, Mel Lewis big band records where Dick Oates is playing beautiful alto ballad, and really get your ears around that. You notice I'm projecting quite a bit. You also notice probably there aren't any dynamics in this piece, which should not mean for you that you play all of this mezzo something. No. When it's more dramatic, make your dynamic bigger. When it's coming away from a dramatic bit, make it a little more restful, make it a little quieter. But shape your dynamics according to the line on this page, and you're going to have something that's really interesting and very musical. A couple things to think about in here in terms of technique. Number one, again, practice this slow. There are all kinds of little tricky rhythmic things, especially once you get into those 16th triplets, that you need to make sure that you're placing them exactly. So don't say, oh, this is slow. I can do this without ramping it up. No, you can't. You can't. So don't try. Just work slowly, build it up. You're going to be very happy with the result. You're going to have something that's much more consistent. Few things in particular to look at. Bar one, the first full bar, I would really use bis B flat there. Use it anytime you're leaping around. It's going to make it easier on you. Bar two, the first full bar two again, I would say use your side F sharp getting into that. It's going to make it much easier going from the F to the F sharp to the G, and it's also going to make that bend a little bit easier. So if you guys can't do that yet, I would say really slowly pull back off those two fingers. And then your voicing is going to help you with that. You slowly lower your voicing as you pull back off the fingers, and then you're going to bring it back up. from there. Now in all of these, such as in bar 3, you have all these little rips between notes. That's going to be a complete chromatic ascent or descent between those two notes, and you're going to use your voicing to smear it just a little bit. I'm doing a little bit of dip or in my voicing. And again, voicing, you can learn more about that on improving saxophone sound. In bar 5 and 6, again, I would use that side F sharp, that chromatic F sharp. I'm gonna make that a little bit easier for you. Bar 6, again, we have a little smeared chromatic run. Again, each one of these, chromatic run with a smear in your voicing. Or maybe even, this is the only time I'll ever say this, maybe drop your jaw a little bit, bring it back up. You will never hear me say this otherwise. That is not the way to adjust anything on saxophone. Just might work a little bit there. In bar 9, I'd use my bis B flat. In bar 10, you can really use either bis or side there. That's totally up to you. Both would be just fine. They work all right. In bar 11, you've got the little weird looking rooftop thing. It's not a marcano accent. It's telling you to go up and then back down. Make sure it's a note in the key. I would say go to a D, since you know it's a D7 chord. Just make it quick, because you need to be able to play all the 16ths in time as well. Bar 12, play that with a bis B flat, I would say. Bar 13, side B flat. Bar 14, use your side F sharp and your bis B flat. And finally in bar 15, I would say bis B flat, and make sure that you're fast on those falls, because you can get hung up time-wise. Play the basic rhythm first. And make sure you can fit in that basic framework. Again, that's something to practice slow as you go. If you have any comments, any questions, anything else you want to ask, tell me, whatever, shoot me an email, andrew.allen@mwsu.edu, or you can get a hold of me through my website, allensax.com. Look forward to hearing from you, and as always, good luck.